Why does life throw you curveballs? That's what I'm wondering this morning. Why is it on those days that you have so much to do and you have it all perfectly planned out and in a certain order that life throws you a curveball? I don't know. I don't really know. But right now, I don't know if you can hear that sound, that dripping sound. Yes, that dripping sound is not supposed to be there. But it is, because I'm in my kitchen and I was getting ready to start filming my Christmas recipe for today. And I walked down here and realized that when the bathroom flooded upstairs from an overflowed toilet, that it was leaking in my kitchen. So after I got that all cleaned up upstairs, I came down here to this. Do you see that drip? It's not supposed to be there. That's from upstairs. My toilet overflowed. And it's dripping in my sink. Now I've got to take care of that before I can do anything. And I also have another spot up there. Hey y'all, we're gonna try this again. Welcome to Kim's Southern Sanctuary. If this is your first time visiting us today, I am Kim. I'm military wife, working mom of 2 preteen girls. It was a challenging morning this morning. The toilet upstairs got stopped up and leaked. Then it dripped down into my kitchen. So before I could do anything, I had to go up there, clean all that up, come down in my kitchen, get all that foolishness cleaned up. So now I have an extra load of towels to do that I wasn't banking on doing. That's my oven beeping, telling me it's ready. So today's video is an open collaboration with Fallon over on Moss Family TV. If you haven't been to her channel, I'm gonna link it down below. So the collaboration today is your favorite Christmas dessert or vintage Christmas dessert. So as I was thinking about this, I really thought back to my childhood, and I even talked to my husband, and I was like, what's one thing like that you remember about Christmas, your favorite dessert? And I knew exactly what he was gonna say, and I really already decided what I was gonna make. And he said apple cake and pecan pies. Apple cake is gonna be a whole nother video that I'll probably post next week, because I don't make the apple cakes in our family. Our oldest daughter, Nora, has actually started making those cakes. So she's actually gonna be making those next week. So we're gonna video her doing the apple cake recipe that Chris's mom used to make for them every Christmas. But today we're doing pecan pies. Pecan pie, when we were growing up, was something that you only got twice a year. You got it at Thanksgiving and you got it at Christmas. I can remember my grandma spending an entire week in her kitchen at Christmas time making fudge, pralines, fruit cake, oatmeal raisin cookies, and pecan pies. I had a cousin who loved pecan pies, and that was one of the things that he always got for Christmas from her, was a cookie tin of individual pecan pies. So we're gonna make an actual whole pie today, but I'm also going to make some little individual pecan pies just because that reminds me of my grandmother. So the recipe that I'm gonna be using is Chris's grandma's recipe. She made this recipe forever. Like, she died when she was 93 years old, and she made this recipe every year up until when she went into the nursing home. And she actually wrote it down for me. Well, actually, Chris's aunt typed it up, but then she put a little note at the bottom for me to kind of give me a little bit more guidance. Now, the first time I made this recipe and they all tried it, they were like, this is not right, this is not right. And she was actually there that day because it was on a Thanksgiving. And when they said that in the background, we could hear her. She was like, hee 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 hee, that's not how I make it. And I got upset. I'm like, but I made it exactly how you said it. And she's like, I don't make it that way. So you're gonna find that a lot of your recipes that we make, that were our grandparents' recipes, they didn't measure anything. But this is the recipe that she's used. I have practiced and practiced and practiced, and I think that I've nailed it finally over years of practicing. So this is her pecan pie recipe. I don't know how comparable it is to my grandmother's. I'm waiting on my mama to call me back to kind of compare the two. But in this recipe, we are going, because we're gonna actually do a double batch. I'm gonna make a whole pie and then I'm gonna make individuals. So I'm gonna actually go by what she says down here. So we are gonna use 3 eggs slightly beaten. We're gonna use 1 cup of white Karo syrup, 1 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of butter. We are gonna use 1 teaspoon or maybe a little bit more of vanilla. And we're gonna use 2 cups of pecans, and then we're gonna use 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. I don't have a shallow pie crust, I have a deep pie crust, but I only have 8 individual serving, little individual pie shells. So whatever we have left over from that will go to fill my deep dish pie crust. All right, so I got everything laid out so that's gonna be a little bit quicker for us to put this together. I got my eggs, got my pecans over there. Now, these pecans either came from Chris's grandma's old house, or they came from my grandparents' home place. That's where my mom, my dad, and my sisters all live, and my grandfather planted acres of pecans. So these might have come from there, if I'm not mistaken. So those are just broken up or crushed. I actually put them in a Ziploc bag and beat them down with my meat tenderizer so that they would be in smaller pieces. Now, Chris's grandma actually ground hers up, and I can recall my grandmother grinding hers in her hand grinder that attached to her table. So you could kind of do these either way. Karo syrup, sugar, there's my cornstarch, there's my butter. It doesn't call for it to be softened, but my butter was frozen, so I had to put it in the microwave real quick. And then we've got our, yes, imitation vanilla extract. We got it all whipped up and mixed, so now we're going to transport it over, and part of it will go in this deep dish pie crust, and then the rest of it's going to go in these individual pie crusts. Now, I found these at Walmart. They're the Dutch Ann frozen tart shells, and 8 come in a package, so that's just enough for kind of what we're doing today. But this really makes me think of my grandma and how she used to do it. So let's get all this in our pie shells. So I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees. According to Mommy's recipe, that's Chris's grandma, she would cook them at 400 degrees for 15 minutes, and then she would knock it down to 350 for 30 minutes, and that would kind of make them cook a little bit better. I don't know if that's going to work for these individual ones. I'm going to have to kind of watch those. So at that 15-minute mark, what I'll do is check those and then kind of just make a decision about how I'm gonna how much longer I'm gonna give these. So let's get these in here. And oh my gosh, this looks so good. Chris has gone on a hunting trip, so he doesn't even know that I'm making these. So he'll be pretty surprised when he sees these. All right, so I knocked out all of my dishes from pie bacon. We've got about, let me see, I put those on at, oh gosh, pardon this hot mess. I put those on at 10:27, so 15 minutes will be 10:42. We're gonna check them at 10:42. Yes, we have a plastic deer in our kitchen. Chris bought that so that when he's in the deer stand with Emily and they see a deer, he can point to where she needs to shoot it. Ain't he smart? So what I wanted to show you was I work in education, in the field of education as a behavior interventionist, and that's a whole nother video in itself. It would take me, I could talk days and days and days about that. But this year I'm working in some middle schools. And these are some of the ornaments that they gave me at one of my schools. This one says, "Oh dear, what a year." And the reindeer's got a little mask on. The secretary at one of the schools gave me that. And then the principal at that same school, she had one of her teachers make this one. It says, "2020 stink, stank, stunk." Those are about the cutest little ornaments that I've gotten in a long time. So we'll go put those on the tree. Right, we're gonna give these little ones a little bit more time, and then this big pie, it's gonna go for another 30 minutes. So they're looking good and they're smelling good. All right, they came out of the oven. I ended up cooking these little ones for about 25 minutes. Now when you take them out, they're gonna look still like they're soft in the middle, but as they set, they're gonna firm up some. And there's our whole pie. This one went 30 minutes. And you can hear it crackling. It's gonna come out feeling a little soft as well, but it firms up really good as it cools down. Okay, so Emily's dying over here to get her a little pie.
Okay, grab one.
Grab one and let's see. Okay. Let's see how it is.
So just bite into it.
You can take it out of the pan and just hold it by your hand, yeah.
It's very good.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. So you give it a thumbs up. How many stars would you give it?
4.
4 out of 10?
Oh, I thought we were doing 5.
No, out of 10 stars, how many stars would you give it?
9.
9 stars.
Very good.
All right, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button down below and don't forget to subscribe. We hope y'all have a good day and we'll see y'all later.